We have an update on the Mike Turner national emergency situation and a whole lot more, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, per Mike disclosure, Ukraine claims that a 3M-22 Zircon missile was deployed by Russia against Ukraine. This hypersonic missile can evade Western missile defense systems. Representative Mike Turner is sounding the alarm bells. And Mike links to two separate articles talking about this. But this is very alarming. And, my heart goes out to the people of the Ukraine and this possible escalation in the war. But it does not appear to be in any way UFO related, unless this technology was reverse engineered from UFOs, which of course is always possible because I have no doubt in my mind that other countries besides the US are working on this. There seems to be an international organization devoted to this subject, as evidenced by the Lance Corporal Weigand case, where he saw a multinational hub in the 90s in Brazil, including members from the US, the Department of Energy, and also people from China and other nations. So there does seem to be a multinational organization that does this, and then maybe every country kind of does their own thing. Anyway, at least that's my read on it. So it wouldn't surprise me if something like that was going on. Claus posted this from Defense One. Air Force announces major shakeup to prep for war with China. Space Force also lists changes, including a futures command. So very alarming stuff. Air Force announces major shakeup to prep for war with China. And the Space Force is involved. So not UFO related, but it is space related, and it could be tangentially related to UFOs. In his press conference, Jake Sullivan repeatedly referenced the Gang of Eight. Well, Nick Gold has this statement. Carl Nell made a point in his Soul Foundation presentation that the Gang of Eight has been read into all of the information. It seems like he is saying pretty directly that they know what's going on with U.A.P. So again, could any of this be UFO related? I don't think so. I really don't, unless it's reverse engineered technology. But I do have my eyes on that. Okay, back to UFO stuff. Gary Nolan has a spicy tweet directed at Mick West. Mick West, has this tweet here, and Gary replies, "Thanks for watching the videos, Mick. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We are giving out I Saw a Seagull t-shirts to the lucky Louie few who win in our secret lottery." And of course, that's a reference to the Gorilla Skeptics and the theory that Mick West might be Lucky Louie. Speaking of Gary Nolan, let's get back to the Soul Foundation. They mainly talked about disclosure and nuts and bolts sort of stuff, but they did delve into the subject of consciousness and some of the trippier aspects of UFOs.
So yes, there is a deep connection between the history of religions and the UFO, but we cannot use our present assumptions about society, science, space exploration, and extraterrestrials to understand the past within a kind of presentism, as if our present worldview is somehow complete or infallible. Nor can we use the assumptions of the past about gods or God or angels or demons to understand the present. We have to be much more sophisticated than this kind of thinking, whichever way the arrow flies. There is simply no debate, for example, that the UFO is related to psychical, parapsychological, and paranormal phenomena. Serious researchers have been saying this for over half a century. How many times do we need to hear this before it becomes common knowledge? Perhaps the technology affects or projects the paranormal display, like some kind of movie projector. Perhaps these anomalies are expressions of consciousness itself. Perhaps consciousness itself is the projector. Perhaps, as I have argued for over a decade, such events show us in dramatic terms that there is no final separation between mind and matter. This can be good news if we can but accept our sciences for what they are and can do, and what they are not and cannot do, and then integrate those other intellectual disciplines like anthropology, philosophy, and the history of religions that have rich histories of theorizing consciousness or mind and its relationship to the physical world.
Love it. And I love that guy's shirt too. Pretty cool. Meanwhile, David Haith breaks down a recent presentation by Simeon Hain, who I follow. I love Simeon. He has some great stuff out there, and he's not afraid to get trippy. But here's what David had to say in his breakdown. What's a common link between crop circles, UFOs, and Bigfoot? It's electrical and time anomalies, according to researcher Simeon Hain, who has studied all three. Battery failures and even time slips are common in crop circles, and it happens in formations known to be created by circle makers who see their art as a magical ritual. In this podcast, Simeon claims he knows of circle makers who witnessed small triangular UFOs and some who were literally chased out of their circles by orbs. Simeon says it's almost like crop circles are a bridge to another reality between technology and magic. Yeah, the connections between all of this kind of thing is really fascinating. You know, the parallels between near-death experiences, for example, and alien abductions are striking. They're very different, but at the same time, there are a lot of commonalities. And then like David and Simeon are saying, the connection between Bigfoots and UFOs and crop circles, there are a lot of commonalities. It's all connected, guys. I wish I understood it, but I do believe firmly, and I do have some, limited experience to suggest that, yeah, man, it's all connected. Meanwhile, Chris Lato's channel issues a statement. It looks like my earlier optimism for Chris was a little bit unfounded, unfortunately. I had been hoping he had been going through some sort of transcendental awareness event. And that's why he was, maybe acting not the way he normally acts, but maybe something else is going on. In any case, he's taking a short break. I love you, Chris. I can't wait for you to come back, but you just take as much time as you need to take, and we'll be here when you get back. Meanwhile, check this out. This snake, this cottonmouth, basically is just floating on the water. I mean, it's just barely moving. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful, clear water, or very still water. Not clear, but very still. Very still water, and that snake is just like floating on it. Wow, that is just so cool. Although, I don't think I'd want him following me in my boat. But look at that. I mean, he's not even moving. He's not even moving. He's just sitting on the water. That's pretty cool. In other news, Billy Carson, ufologist Billy Carson, has been saying on multiple podcasts that NASA is trying to get the rights, or may already have the rights, to the interior of the Great Pyramid at Giza. They have discovered some technology, or that the pyramid itself is a technology, and they are basically seizing it, according to Billy Carson. Now, I love Billy. He talks about fun stuff. Is he credible? I don't know. A lot of his claims are very sensational and colorful, but hard to verify. I kind of put him in the David Wilcox camp as far as that goes. It's certainly a fun story. He also talks about NASA owning the rights to parts of the Grand Canyon. Now, this is interesting. The Y-Files, about a year ago, did an episode. This was funny. I'll get to the Y-Files in a minute. But speaking of NASA and the pyramids, maybe this is why they want the pyramid. Make a great launch base. Check that out. Oh, there's Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, all coming out of the Great Pyramid. That's probably what's going on. But here's the episode of the Y-Files from a year ago, when it was talking about the Smithsonian cover-up at the Grand Canyon, because according to the stories, there are giant bones there, or have been giant bones there, as well as evidence that Egyptian culture had made it all the way to the Grand Canyon. Here's, a quote from a supposed explorer and adventurer. Kincaid, over 100 feet from the entrance, is the cross hall, several hundred feet long, in which are found the idol or image of the people's god, sitting cross-legged with a lotus flower or lily in each hand. Now, obviously, these stories are hard to verify, but they're certainly fun, and I have heard this from numerous sources, that there are parts of the Grand Canyon where if you go, black helicopters will suddenly show up. So I do think there might be some there. I don't know if NASA is involved in that or not, but it's certainly worth thinking about. At any rate, I do feel like there are mysteries at the Grand Canyon. Here's an article from Stargate Voyager, 1899 report, 10-foot skeleton discovered in Ohio quarry. I found the following 1899 article from searching through the digital archives of the Library of Congress. Link below is the original published article and screenshots of the newspaper. Found a 10-foot giant skeleton. It has recently been made public that a find of incalculable value to science was made at a stone quarry 3 miles northwest of Akron, Ohio. The find consists of the skeleton of a gigantic man, believed to have lived in prehistoric times, and relies relics of a time when civilization was just beginning to dawn. In clearing away refuse, quarrymen, according to the Cleveland Plain Dealer, found the almost complete skeleton of a man. The skull was entire, and the lower jawbone of such proportions as to easily fit over the outside of the jaw of the largest modern man. Vertebrae were found, as were also ribs and femurs, and the large pelvis bone, which was broken in two. It is believed the man must have been at least 10 feet in height. And you hear about these giant reports all the time, back 100 years ago or so. They were found frequently, and a lot of them wound up in the Smithsonian, where they vanished. In fact, they all vanished. You don't see any giant bones or giant skeletons around today. There was a cover-up. The Smithsonian would say things like, "Oops, we lost that specimen." Well, you're not going to lose a giant skeleton, guys, especially not multiple giant skeletons. So there is a cover-up with the giants that began around the same time as the UFO cover-up seems to have begun. Is there a connection between the giants and the UFOs? I think probably yes. But let me know what you think about that and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in an even bigger way, please consider becoming a channel member. See the link below. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Or, of course, you could just buy a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below. Again, see the link below. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.